What has become one of the saddest stories today and trending nationwide at #1 is the rearrest of Ogunlola Sowore.
And he dragged me down in front of a judge after I had been granted bail. What is important for Nigerians to know is that I am not going to give up.
And I'm joined by Toye and Moji to talk about this and to get their reactions on this topic. What do you think about the rearrest of Sowore by the DSS? Hi, Toye.
Hi, God.
Hi, Moji.
Hi.
So, Toye, first, what do you think about this whole rearrest?
I think it's a threat on the people of Nigeria for the most part. You know, this year is supposed to be the year that we're gonna celebrate civil liberties, like people taking to the streets, women taking their protests into the streets, end SARS, some of all those campaigns, and like, you know, the repression of the people by, you know, the authorities mainly reminds us of Nigeria's grim military era, something that a lot of people my age will actually remember. So if we're experiencing this now, it means like maybe some of those, you know, memories are not so, some of those events, some of those memories, some of the atrocities that were committed when Nigeria was ruled by men in uniform, and like those are so far away anymore. And that's like for anybody who has envisioned like a future of Nigeria, it's a jolt. It's like, have I been maybe too optimistic about Nigeria that I want in the future? And yeah, I think it's just a lot of those, that disillusionment that like this is happening and it's been going on for about 3 months now, 125 days. That's half a year, thereabout. Like, yeah, it's the fear more. I think it's the fear more that what translates, because at the end of the day, he's not like a random Joe on the street. This is like a public figure, he's an activist and all of that. So imagine if it was just a random guy who the police, like, you know, were complicit in corruption about in this case or something, and then he tried to speak out. Like, what do we expect is gonna happen? And I guess a lot of what I feel right now is that fear that it could be you. Like, if it happened to this guy, it means it could be you. Like, if it's happening at this national level to this level of public outcry and nothing is seeming to be happening, then like, because it's interesting, because Amnesty International literally sent a letter to Buhari thanking him and you know, acknowledging the fact that he is following due process and the rule of law. But, you know, it's easy to get lost in those conversations of maybe that he has offended some powerful people, or the people that they are currently like behind some of the troubles he's facing. But beyond any of the politics, there's just the main fact that this is a person who, just like me and you, has opinions, and he's being tried and like more or less persecuted for having an opinion.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Let's get to Moji. Moji, when you saw that video, the video of his rearrest, how did that make you feel? Because he talked about the fear as a citizen. How did that video make you feel?
Okay, well, I pretty much agree with him. Just that, well, I didn't have that jolt, right, as you would call it, because I feel like this is what happens in Nigeria on a daily basis. Now, it's more glaring because it's a public figure, as he has said. It's on a national scale. On a regular day, somebody is harassed by the police for doing something funny, or harassed for recording, or harassed for saying something. And then because it's somebody who nobody knows, you know, it's just really basically swept under the carpet. But then again, it's really sad that even after we've come so far, about 20 years celebrating democracy, we still are not practicing the fundamentals, something as fundamental as the rule of law, you know, that nobody's basically above the law. And that's one of the reasons why we have checks and balances in the system. That's one of the reasons why the judiciary is independent of the executive and the legislature. And then they're basically supposed to interpret these laws and all of that, but then there's no faith in the system, basically, because if we can agree that, oh, maybe they are not respected enough, as the judgment is not followed or whatever. But then right in the court premises, you know, DSS officials, they come in. It just shows that it is finished. That's all I can say.
Constitutionally, like someone was telling me that constitutionally there's nothing that says you cannot re-arrest someone on the court grounds. You can't arrest somebody on the National Assembly grounds. But it's supposed to be common sense that, like, if someone is going through wasn't like a due legal process, you let them go through it. And I think what is even more scary, and I don't know how much it has been conflated by, you know, outrage media and so on online, but what is even more scary has not only been that Sowore was rearrested, it was the allegations that the judge was reportedly sent out of the court with a gun. Like that gun, he was walked out of the court at gunpoint. That is the real, that is the real red line. That's where it actually moves from, you know, the presidency or the government persecuting someone to full out like, this is ridiculous. It doesn't have any human rights justification. It doesn't it's hard to conceive it even.
Really, I like your line of thoughts, and a lot of people have been talking on Twitter. Sowore is trending at @1, DSS is trending at #2. A lot of conversation is going on Twitter. Nigerians are talking about this. So one of the tweets I saw is by social media influencer. He says, "You're not safe in Nigeria. All our institutions are in the full control of the executive." What do you think about that?
There are no lies, because it seems like what you are being asked of as a Nigerian is to negotiate your free will with people who think it is their duty to give you in bits, which doesn't make any sense. I think beyond the fact that we have an executive that's too powerful, there is just that assumption that you can use force to get everything, and I think it's something I don't know if it's if it's one of the byproducts of being, you know, having lived in the military era in the past, but it seems to be that assumption in Nigeria that you can bully your way through anything once you have once you have enough money in your account, once you know the right people in uniforms to call. We even see in regular everyday conversations, when somebody offends you, so I'll go call SARS for you, and people have these conversations. It just gives you gives them an idea of the mentality that, you know, guides some of our beliefs. For a lot of Sowore's talk, the worry now is if this is gonna become leverage for other things, like the social media bill that is being passed. If they're gonna cite instances of misinformation that's gonna be used to push this bill into law, there's possibility that, you know, other people who have been following Sowore's journey are going to be dissuaded from trying to pursue, you know, civil liberties. There's, you know, even the what's his name, the guy who did the story the journalist who did the story on the Ikoyi prisons. You know, he's currently on the run apparently. He's currently in hiding because after he released the story, there were reports that he was wanted. You know, and this occurrence is not only they're not only happening in real time, they're also affecting young people, which is the real fear. The leaders of tomorrow, who have, you know, in the last couple of years seem to gain momentum on, you know, from Occupy Nigeria till now. We have gained momentum in the kind of issues we demand from the government to pay attention to. But if we are being stifled in this way, it's we're going to be set back another 5 years, and then before we recover again, and it just gives you makes you worry about if people that say Nigerian problems are cyclical and never ending and unfixable, maybe they're right. And these are some of the feelings that I'm left with at the moment right now.
Thank you so much, Toye. So Moji, how does this impact our democracy? Looking at all of these conversations we've had and this arrest, how does it impact our democracy?
Okay, so I believe most of all what this has done is it has made us lose faith even further in the system. made us lose faith even further in the judiciary. Like I said earlier, there's a reason why the judiciary is independent from every other, arm of government. And the fact that, sometimes we feel like we've made some progress. Like I think it was yesterday I read in the news that Oji Kalu was arrested or something, and then I felt, okay, this is actually weird because but it's a good thing that the executive can actually be subject to the law and all of that. So this happening just feels like we're going in the same regime, like we're going backwards, and it just basically makes us lose faith in the system, meaning that the Constitution might as well just be a fluke, right? Our rights to freedom of speech, our rights to life, all these things, freedom of movement, it might as well just be a fluke. And it
only exists in theory.
Exactly, only exists in theory, and it just makes us lose faith in the system, that we're really not safe. So our democracy really, 20 years is basically holds no water, because this is the foundation, this is the basis of everything.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This was a really, really wholesome conversation, I must say. Thank you so much. So there's been a conversation of safety, there's a conversation of fear, and I'd like you to go in our comment section and tell us what you think about
Free Sowore.
this whole conversation, and of course, Free Sowore.